so special?
Well, when it comes to audio in your backyard, box speakers attached to the house or small spotlight satellites or rock speakers in the garden. None of that is new. There's a lot of people making some great stuff out there. But what we wanted to do is we wanted to bring attention to the speaker itself and make it dual purpose. So the speaker itself is a beautiful landscape pathway light that looks like it's supposed to be there and lights up your yard. But in addition to that, it's an awesome sounding speaker as well. So it was combining the two. It wasn't just putting a speaker in your yard that you're trying to hide. The majority of the speakers now that exist for outdoor garden audio are all muted. They're black, they're brown, they're made to look like a rock. They're made to pretend like there's not a speaker there. Well, we wanted to make an awesome sounding speaker, and to do that, you don't want it hidden. And so we combined it, we fused it with an awesome looking pathway landscape light. So it's a dual purpose. You walk outside and you can see, oh, my garden, my pathway's lit up beautifully. Oh, and by the way, I'm also going to throw a party, and I've got great sounding audio coming out of it as well. So it was really the combination of trying to add that sound to the backyard or any sort of outdoor environment while being able to have a nice looking speaker that serves a purpose outside of just playing music.
So as you can see from the images here, I mean, I think you guys have done, first and foremost, a brilliant job in the design. You're absolutely right. I think you're nailing it on the head there, Nick. These are very aesthetically pleasing units that could incorporate super easily with any landscape, any type of environment. Let's get into the technical side of things. Is this a package? Is this a kit that comes together? And how does this all work?
Yeah, we have multiple packages. It's kind of sold in bundles. So our 250 watt amplifier is capable of running 8 satellite speakers in one 10-inch sub, or up to 16 satellite speakers with no sub. So that one amplifier is able to power all of that, makes it real easy to set up, real easy to integrate. And so you can buy the system with the four speakers in a sub, 8 speakers in a sub, or just 16 speakers and an amplifier. If that's what you want, if you don't want that added bass. And the patented part of the technology in these speakers is the enclosure. So what we have in the top of the satellite speaker, where the speakers are mounted, firing angled up right at your face, which adds to the high sound quality because the speakers aim towards the listener, giving you that 360 surround aimed in the right spot. And the lens for the LED with that where the speakers mount in that lens create an enclosure. So that's how we're able to get really good sound out of 2.5-inch drivers on top of each of our lights, our Fusion Soundscape lights. So you're going to get that awesome 360 surround, really full surround with that enclosure, that patented technology that gets us that enclosure. And then, as you mentioned, the beautiful aesthetics of the light around it, mounted up, just lighting up your yard, lighting up your pathway, lighting up your garden, while giving you that awesome sound all in one package.
Let's dive a little bit deeper, Nick, because the light slash speakers is one component, but now you mentioned 2 other important components. I want to break this down for those listening so they understand the type of engineering and design that has gone into the system. Let's talk about that subwoofer. Obviously, it doesn't look like the subwoofer that we're used to looking at. Can you give us a little bit more detail on how this works and what was the thought process behind its design?
Yeah, we wanted to find the best way to bring a 10-inch sub to the outdoor world. And so what we came up with is a bandpass enclosure with, as I mentioned, a 10-inch sub. It's got a really cool chimney port on the front side of it. So you bury this sub in the ground and just have the chimney port sticking out of the ground. So you have a little mushroom sticking underground to give you that bass, that added bass. And as I mentioned, with the whole kit setup, it's very easy to install. It's very easy to integrate in the system. It's a dual voice coil sub. So you just tap into the left and right of the amplifier where you have your 8 speakers hooked up, just tap in left and right for the sub. And now the sub is in parallel with the rest of the system and is going to give you that added thump. And I don't quite understand the physics because I'm not an engineer, but hearing it with the sub sitting above ground, and then when you bury, you absolutely get added bass output by burying that sub in the ground. So it's super cool just having this chimney giving you that extra bass in addition to the great sound that you're getting out of your satellites.
So obviously a key component of this entire system is, of course, the amplifier. So the amplifier is the control unit, but it's also the source of power. But there's a couple of features that you guys have built in to really optimize this entire scenario. Let's get into that.
Yeah, Ben, I have the amplifier here with me. to show off and kind of point out some of the features. So we'll start out with the front. Again, this is a 125 by 2, 250 watt amplifier. If you notice up front, here's the power button, and you have your gain controls for left and right. So just imagine if you have this in your yard and it's close to the neighbor on this side, not close to the neighbor on that side. You might want to be able to adjust the left or right, up or down a little bit, depending on what's going on with the time of day, or if they're have a baby sleeping or whatever the case may be. You have that adjustability here, left and right. Then switching to the back of the amp, you can see the cool thing about it. You have on this side, you have analog, digital coax, and Toslink input and output. So the benefit of the input and output is, like in my yard, I have 16 speakers and 2 subs. So I have 2 amps stacked on top of each other, and they daisy chain together. So I have the source going in, audio source going into one, and it jumps into the other one. No problem. Super easy to install. Then you have your speaker wire terminals here. And then here's your DSP settings. So we have from 0 to 7 different DSP settings. And this is where we tuned it for you. We did all the work. We designed the speakers. We designed the sub. We designed the amplifier. So we make it super easy on the end user. Different settings that are listed out in the manual, whether you have a sub, don't have a sub. You don't have a sub, you want to add a little bit of bass. There's a 3 dB boost on the mid bass that'll allow you to get a little bit more bass out of those mids. If you have the sub, you don't need that. So you turn that down, makes the feature speakers more efficient, not playing as much of those mid bass because you're getting that bass out of the sub. So very easy to use, very easy to integrate and design or set up your system once you've got it all drawn out, when you've got to put out where you're putting all the speakers in the yard. Then you can tune the amplifier just by turning this little DSP switch. Then we've got USB charging if you have a Bluetooth controller or something as your source, and your power here. And with this amplifier, the reason we have those 3 inputs as well is to make it versatile. We don't want to reinvent the wheel with creating our own app or anything like that. If you have Sonos, if you use Alexa, if you just have a Bluetooth streamer, super easy to integrate into whole home audio, because you can do analog, digital coax, or Toslink input. So easy to integrate, easy to tune, easy to set up, all with this one amplifier.
And finally, Nick, we're talking about an outdoor system install. Let's get into the details of the install. What type of wiring and what type of design features have you built in to the installation of this new Fusion Soundscape system?
Yeah, there's 2 ways that you can wire up this system. You could run a left and a right dedicated if you're splitting the 2 speakers up in your yard or the system design, or you can run everything over a 6 conductor wire. That's how I have it in my yard. So I have a 16/6 tin copper construction wire. Two wires are go to a low voltage transformer. We have a transformer, but any low voltage transformer will work. So if you already have a transformer that you have powering other lights in your yard, maybe you have some spotlights, some other landscape lighting, and you have enough power to add more lights to it, you can just tap into any low voltage transformer. Ours is nothing special. It's just low voltage LED lighting. And then 4 wires go to your left and right. And then as you run that wire along your yard, you take each speaker, and each speaker has 4 wires coming out of it, 2 for LED and 2 for speaker. Obviously, you hook every speaker up to the 2 wires you have running to the transformer, and then you tap into which pair of wire you want, left or right. So you just pull that wire out, strip some wire off, and decide, I want this speaker to be left. You tap into what you have running left to the amplifier. You want it right, you tap in running right to the amplifier. And of course, the subwoofer, you hook up to both the left and right. So even for someone who doesn't know what they're doing for landscape or outdoor audio, it's a very, very simple install, and everything is completely laid out in the manual. So I've never wired an outdoor audio system before, and I was able to, the most time consuming part was digging the trenches to hide the wire outside.
And there you have it, guys. The new Fusion Soundscape outdoor sound system, complete with speakers, lights, subwoofer, and amplifier. I think these guys have done an incredible job putting this package together. It's a new foray for the folks at, Memphis Audio and now 6.5 Audio. Nick, what final message do you have for any potential dealers that be listening to this and are interested? What is the availability, and how do they get more information?
Well, the one thing I say is, if you're at all an audio person, if you like audio everywhere, if you've got Bluetooth speakers, if you've got system in your car, if you've got speakers in your house, and you don't have speakers in your backyard, once you hear this, you're going to be upset that you didn't have it sooner. So I've heard this product a bunch of times, but the first time I heard it in my yard, it was night and day, way more exciting. I was like a kid in a candy store. I still go outside every day just to listen to a couple songs, even if I don't have any plans to hang out in my backyard. So this is available now. You can get it from a variety of places, but if you're a consumer looking to purchase, or if you're a dealer looking to sell our product and install for a consumer, just go to 65audio.com for more information.